bullets.
Frog's house!
Hi there, I'm Jimmy. Here we are again. You in your house, me in mine. I hope you had a successful Mother's Day. This was probably the strangest Mother's Day ever, especially for me. I spent some of my Mother's Day in a Twitter feud with, you know that weird baby that lives in the White House? The one with the orange face? Well, he is in a mood, and apparently part of the reason for that mood is because of something that I did. On Thursday night, I showed a video. It was one of these embarrassing photo ops of Mike Pence, the vice president, carrying boxes, delivering PPE to a facility for senior citizens. It was a publicity stunt to show how much they're doing, but that happens in politics. Okay, fine. The trouble started because at one point in the video, after awkwardly lugging a heavy box to the door, Mike Pence finds some empty boxes in the back of the van. Why there were empty boxes in the back of the van, I don't know, but he finds them. He says, "Can I just carry the empty ones just for the camera?" Which turns out he was joking. How anyone could tell when Mike Pence is joking, I don't know. I didn't know, but he was joking. I didn't know because I'd only watched part of the video. It turns out there were 29 minutes of this on C-SPAN that apparently indicate he was joking about carrying the empty boxes for the cameras, which again, I didn't know because I don't have the mental endurance it requires to watch Mike Pence deliver boxes for 29 minutes on C-SPAN. But I should have watched the whole thing, I guess. Bottom line is, I was wrong. He was joking. I didn't know I made a mistake. And when I found out I was wrong, I acknowledged it by taking the video down and tweeting an apology of sorts to the best of my ability. Apologizing to the Trump administration for spreading untruth is like apologizing to Barry Bonds for using steroids. It's hard. But the outrage from the MAGA hats, the outpouring of venom was disgusting. Stupid too, but mostly disgusting. Some of these lunatics have the audacity to use the word Christian in their bios, but that didn't stop them from wishing death on me, on my family, on my son. Some of them said they hope my son dies. They threatened my wife. There were hundreds of horrible, hateful, sometimes violent Twitter and Facebook posts because I showed what they kept calling a doctored video, which was not a doctored video, by the way. We didn't do anything to it. We didn't doctor the video. Doctors are the people Donald Trump doesn't listen to. And doctored videos are something Donald Trump posts all the time. Some of his paid campaign ads are doctored videos that had to be removed for violating the rules about that sort of thing. But these people who blindly pledge their allegiance to Donald Trump instead of this country are so, their hypocrisy runs so deep, they don't even seem to be aware of it anymore. It's like when an Uber driver wears too much cologne. The communications director for Mike Pence's campaign tweeted all day about this Friday. All day, it's the only thing he tweeted about. And I got an email from the vice president's office requesting that I apologize on air. On Twitter wasn't enough, I guess. They wanted it on air because this is what they're thinking about while thousands of Americans are dying every day. Jokes from late night talk show hosts. But okay, you know what? It was my mistake. I do apologize to the vice president, again, for spreading misinformation about him. Spreading misinformation is their thing, and I stepped on their toes. But now that I've done that, I would like the vice president, since he asked me to apologize, to ask his boss, who lies every time there isn't a McNugget in his mouth, to apologize for the following perversions of decency and democracy. Mike Pence has stood by and warmly enabled, with a smug little twinkle in his eye, these things for 4 miserable years. We would like an apology for separating thousands of migrant children from their parents, inviting the Taliban to Camp David, siding with Vladimir Putin over U.S. intelligence, calling neo-Nazis very fine people, using campaign money to pay off a porn star, mocking a 16-year-old climate activist, mocking Christine Blasey Ford, obstruction of justice, ignoring warnings on coronavirus, downplaying the dangers of coronavirus, mishandling the coronavirus. We still don't have tests for the coronavirus. Why are we opening the country when we have no tests for coronavirus? There are about 15,000 more, but let's start with apologizing for those, and we'll get to the rest. So then yesterday, it's Mother's Day. We're having a nice morning. I'm with the family, and I get a text that says, the president is tweeting about you. So he tweets, it took me a while to find it because he tweeted 125 times yesterday. He tweets, more fake news, this time from Jimmy Kimmel's Last Place show. He tweeted once every 7.5 minutes yesterday. That's impressive. He ignored a pandemic and his wife on Mother's Day. He really can do it all. So I replied to the tweet. I thought about it, and I just wrote, go make Melania brunch. Still no word on if he did. You think he ever made anyone anything? You think he ever made Don Jr. a grilled cheese sandwich? So anyway, this is what the White House is working on and thinking about right now. This really is the dumbest time to be alive. I always assumed that if I got involved in some kind of a Twitter feud with the president, it would be with President Kanye in 2028. But no, it came early. So now the latest twist is that there's a corona outbreak among the White House staff. As if this administration needed anything else to make this more like a horror movie. It's coming from inside the House. The president's valet, Ivanka Trump's assistant, a spokesperson for Mike Pence, all tested positive. Dr. Fauci has now placed himself in quarantine. And the White House today announced a new policy that requires all staffers who enter the West Wing to wear a mask, except for the president, because, rules don't apply to him. Donald Trump is now, with all these tests, living like the world's most closely monitored porn star. Kevin Hassett, who's a top economic advisor to Trump, said it is scary to go to work now. Right, but by all means, let's send everyone else back to work. And in the midst of all this, with his spokesperson testing positive, Mike Pence went to Iowa to meet with executives from several big food companies. And you can see here, everyone is wearing a mask until a woman comes in. I don't know who the woman is, but 11 minutes before Mike Pence arrives, she says something to the executives, and they remove their masks after hearing it. And then, who shows up but the vice president? He's maskless too. Everyone claps. They've got a hashtag that says helpful smile strong, which reads like a poorly translated sign on a Chinese dentist office. Anyway, it doesn't matter who in his office has it. No masks for Mike Pence. He is a very bad boy. He's wild. That video, by the way, I want to say was not doctored. And nor is this. Have you seen the video of the little girl